What's up, guys? Chris here with an experiment philosophy. I want to try this out. First, can you read this note card back here? I'm just curious if you guys can read that. Take a second. If you can't read that one, curious if you can read this one. Can you read that right there? You probably see some red lines or whatever. And for the last part of my experiment, I want to see if you can read this one. So this is exactly half the distance between that one there and the one that was just in front of you. And it says fear, if you can read that. Now, the purpose of that experiment is to show you that the closer you are to something, the harder it is to understand. If you're too far away from it, you're not going to understand it either. And so what happens is every single one of the cards has the same thing written on it. They all have fear written on it, as you can see there, and that back one does too. And the point being that if you're really far away from something, it's very easy to judge and come up with all types of theories because it hasn't affected you at all. So, for example, what's happening now, if none of your family members and no one you know has been affected, it's very easy to call out whatever this person or that person doing this or someone's doing that because it really has no effect upon you. If all your friends aren't sick and no one you know is being affected, it's very easy from a far distance to judge what's going on in someone else's life or tell people how they should think or tell people how they should react because nothing's happened to you. Now, and I've known people who multiple family members have been affected by what's going on. And at the same token, those people have a very hard time because guess what? You're too close to the problem. If you're too close to it, you have an emotional tie. It's so embedded in you because you've been emotionally affected. You have trauma. You have all these things that have affected you by this thing. So it's hard to make a clear judgment because you're so attached to the thing. And this is why people in the trenches, while they have a greater understanding and experience, they also have a biased view because they've been actually affected by it. Are they the most accurate? Maybe, because they've actually seen it. But they also have a skewed view on it where it's the worst thing in the world. So people have a great amount of fear because they see it every single day and they're engulfed in it. So to them, it seems like a much bigger issue versus those people way back there. They don't see it at all. So they don't have them. They have a way different perspective on it. And so in order to fully understand any kind of problem or thing going on, and doesn't have to do with just this, it has to do with any situation in your life, you have to have a safe enough distance where you can see it, you can appreciate it, you can be empathetic to those who are dealing with it, you can have a general vague understanding of it, but you're not so close. One thing they say, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. If you're too close to it, you're too attached to it, you're not able to see it fully. If you're so far away, you can care less. It kind of becomes this thing where you can throw any theory or whatever out there because it's not actually affecting you. So when you're in that mid-range where you can kind of understand both sides of the situation, that's where you have the greatest perspective of the thing, whatever the thing may be. Again, now what's going on with this whole pandemic, we're dealing with a virus or whatever it is that's happening right now. We're dealing with it, but if you're too close to it and you're seeing it every day, you have such an emotional attachment, it's hard to make a good decision, a good judgment. And those who have no kind of impact from it whatsoever can say whatever they like because they've never been affected by it. And so this is not to say anyone's right or wrong. It's just to show you that from a different perspective, you'll have a different understanding of the thing. So when you're in it, you have an understanding from the experience. When you're kind of far away from it or a safe distance away, when you can still understand it, but you'll have a certain perspective. And then when you're really far away, you have a whole different perspective from it. Again, neither one's right or wrong. Everyone's just operating from their own experience level and their own perspective. And so this is not to say that people are right or wrong. It's just to say that be cautious of what you put out, be cautious of what you say, because you may be operating from a specific perspective and not everyone's going to share your views, your opinions, and your perspective on the thing. So when you want to debate about people back and forth, first you have to understand where they're coming from, what their view of the thing is, try to gain a level of understanding, and then you try to meet them at a space where they're at, where you can have a conversation that doesn't turn into a heated argument or debate. Hope this helps. There's just something that was been popped in my head. I want to share with you. If you agree with it, if it's something that you feel may give some clarity to some of your friends and people you're dealing with, be sure to share, like, comment. Talk to you guys next time.